As I walk around this little handful of knuckleheads we have, I'm going to talk a little bit. My thing today is original paint knuckleheads, as you guys know. When I was a kid, my thing was what I called a chopper handhead after buying a brand new stock 81 FXS lowrider. It's my first Harley. And I called it a chopper because it had been raked with a wishbone frame and a stock springer for an end, i.e. it was chopped. 65 motor certainly didn't come in a wishbone frame, and I knew enough to know that, although I didn't know very much about this stuff. I was 19. So we're so many generations removed from where all this started, and there was no internet. Names, ideas, words can change place and meanings. So when was the first term of chopper, and what did it refer to? Or bobber, or bob job? Now they've been chopping bikes, or bobbing them, or altering them, pretty much as soon as there's been motorcycles. I've got pictures from the teens and 20s of altered machines. Or seen them. I used to have a lot of literature. I don't have very much anymore, compared to what I had. But Chopper Gary here on Facebook and Plastic Panhead, look, he found this on the interwebs, and this is dated March 1954, and this is their idea in somebody's magazine of how to instructions to prospective choppers from reader Des Marseille, something like that. Include these simple modifications: cut and round off the front fender, remove the crash bars, raise pipe to 30-degree angle, remove the rear stand, remove the bags, and presto, we had a chopper, according to that magazine, in 1954. Well, from today's standard viewpoint, looking back, I would have called that a bobber, or a bob job. First reference I've ever seen to someone calling it a chopper. But names and places and ideas and words, you can use the same word and be referred to something else. And today we would think of the bikes they altered in the 20s, the JDs, as cut downs. Did they call them cut downs in the 20s? And what part of the country did they call them what? Well, those guys are gone. We don't know. I haven't found any reference to any magazines yet. Maybe somebody has that, in which case send me some photos. Send me your magazine article. Let me see what it is. I'll put it on the YouTube. So I thought this would be of interest to everybody. So I'm making this little video and posting it. As always, as we discover this stuff, it's a learning process. Okay? We are being a detective historian. That, to me, is why these original paints with the documentation are so important. But believe it or not, it's actually harder to find out the lore and the history of choppers and bobbers, because it was an area thing. What did they do in LA? What did they do in Frisco? What did they do in New York? When did they do it? What did they call it? The accessory stuff is hard to find out about, but you're talking about companies that had sales literature and so forth. The chopper guys, the bobber guys, if you're lucky, they got an idea into a magazine like that. That was somebody's idea in their direction that somehow got published, and somebody somehow found it, put it on the interwebs, and this guy saw it and put it up. We don't even know what magazine it's from. So there it is. That to me is part of the fun of this stuff. Not to be the cool today chopper bobber hipster guy, but to be, let me find the history of it. My building choppers and bobbers, man, that was 30 years ago. I don't do it anymore. I'm lucky to be able to play with this stuff. You can only do so much. So, but it's still part of the motorcycle history. It's part of where they came from. It's part of how they've been enjoyed. And it has equal value in its time. So, my thoughts for the day. We'll see you guys in the next video.